In a few minutes, there are timestamps below to move quicker, I will begin giving you the steps of a Reiki session in real time, and all you have to do is place some earbuds in your ears and listen to me as you work through the session on your recipient. Before I get started, I want to clarify that doing the steps in this video is not doing Reiki. There are 5 core elements to Reiki, and these hand placements and symbols alone are only 2 of them. The other 3 elements are living by the Reiki principles, the different levels of Reiki with specific training in each, and receiving an attunement from a Reiki Master that has direct lineage to the founder, Mikao Usui. If you don't meet these 5 elements and are interested in doing Reiki, I have ongoing classes both in person and virtual, and the link is in the description to learn more and or to register. Finally, I want to go over a few terms that you may need refreshing on, or perhaps if you had a different teacher, may need to learn. These will be steps included in the 50-minute session that follows. So grounding and self-protection, that process is drawing a choku-rei over your client and imagining that roots are coming from your client's body into the ground. That is rooting and grounding your client. You're also going to want to imagine roots coming out of your feet into the ground. So you are rooting and grounding yourself. The choku-rei with this grounding process is going to help to protect both you and the client. Another term that I will be using is aura sweep. This is clearing the aura, the energy layers outside of the body, and it's a process in which you are going to drag your hand above the client, not touching the client. You are going to drag your hand over their body and imagine that you're sweeping anything from their aura, from their crown all the way down to their feet and then off of their feet. So you're sweeping right above them. You're going to sweep on 3 areas. So their right side, their middle, you're going to walk to the other side of the table and then sweep the other side. Chakra balancing, I will go over the hand placements as we are in the session, and it's simply placing your hands above the client about 5 to 8 inches above and holding your hands over the chakras, and you simply intend that the chakras balance. I'm also going to ask you to zip your client up at the end, and that is a process of imagining that there's a zipper above their belly button, zipping it all the way up to their nose, and then flicking it to the right and letting it go. You're going to do this above the body. You're going to do that 3 times. Belly button to the nose, flick to the right, let it go. Belly button to the nose, flick to the right, let it go. This is what's going to seal the session that you just did. I'm also going to ask you to fluff. This is optional, but fluffing allows you to just go above your client and like fluff the air, like pretending that there's, leaves in front of you and you're lifting them up. You're just doing it to the air, and that helps to kind of lighten the heaviness that may sometimes be over your client after a Reiki session. Finally, I will ask you to draw a protection bubble. This also is optional, and it can be done in 2 ways. You can draw a giant choku-rei outside of your client and then just imagine it forming into a bubble that encapsulates your client and intend that they are covered with protection. You can also draw the choku-rei and then just walk around your client, drawing multiple choku-reis around each side, the above and below, in a about 3-foot area around your client. Again, intending that they are protected. So we are going to get started in 1 moment. Before we do, I want to let you know there are 2 MP3s in the description below that you can download for quicker, easier access to just the guided session. One will have music in it like today's video, and one is simply my voice. I also want to remind you that hands off should be far enough above the body to allow for your client's movement and breathing without them hitting themselves on your hands. Hands on should be firmly in place, but not adding deep pressure. All hand placements that we'll be going through can be done either hands on or hands above, unless I specifically say hands above. Your recipient may have a preference of hands on or hands above, and make sure you discuss that with them prior to starting the session. As well, we will be working on the recipient face down and then face up. Remember that if they cannot do either position, allow them to sit or lay however they are most comfortable, and simply intend for the energy to go to the areas as I say them. Finally, we are not the healers. Reiki is the one doing the healing, and we are simply the conduit which Reiki flows through. Remember to let go and let Reiki do what it needs. Reiki always works best when we set the initial intention and then step back and simply let it flow through us. And the session is going to begin now. Go ahead and allow your client to climb onto the table face down. You're going to want to put a bolster underneath their ankles. Allow them to get situated. Pull a blanket up over them if they would like to be covered. Dim the lights. Start the music if you would like. Go ahead and sweep above your client, crown to feet, all three areas. You're going to go ahead and draw the choku ray above their mid back and ground both you and the client, and allow the Reiki energy to begin to flow. Now we're going to move into balancing the chakras. You're going to place one hand above the crown and one hand above their bottom. There's no touching here. You're about 5 to 6 inches out, and simply intend for those two chakras to balance. Move one hand to the third eye right behind their head and one hand to the sacral, their lower back. Go ahead and move one hand to the throat and the other hand above the solar plexus. That would be the middle back, right around the bra strap. Go ahead and hover both hands above the heart, allowing the heart chakra to balance. This will be your upper back. Okay, now you're going to walk to the top of your client, the head of the client. At the crown, which is the top of their head, you're going to draw the choku ray. Any other symbols that you've been attuned to, you're going to draw those each 3 times. Go ahead and set the intention. Divine healers, Reiki ancestors, please allow Reiki healing energy to flow through me clearly and gently for healing of this person's highest good. And then you can add whatever they would like to receive. And then go ahead and draw 3 choku rays. Now we are going to begin the hand placements by placing both hands on the crown, right at the top of their head. And simply intend Reiki to flow. As you go through the session, notice if there are any differences in feelings between all of the hand placements. Are there areas that are hotter or cooler? And just begin understanding the different things that Reiki allows you to feel and sense. We are still at the crown. Go ahead and move your hands to the top of the back of their head. So you're going to place your hands directly on the back of their head. Your fingertips may be at the base, and then the base of your palms may be at the top. Right on the back of their head, hitting their third eye. Okay, and now you're going to move to the throat area by placing the tips of your fingers at the very upper spot of their back and the base of the palm of your hand, the very bottom of the palm of your hand, at the base of their skull. So you're not touching their neck, you're resting above their neck. Okay, now you're going to walk to the side of the table and you're going to place your hands on their upper back, right where the back of their heart would be. Okay, now you're going to move down to their solar plexus, which is the middle back. It's typically where bra straps are located. And just to clarify, I do mean the bottom clasping bra strap, very middle of the back. All right, now you're going to move down to the sacral, which is the lower back. Okay, and now we're going to start working on the root chakra by placing one hand on a hip and one hand on the knee. Okay, now you're going to move to the other side of the table and place one hand on the other hip and the other hand on the other knee. Okay, now you're going to move to the base of the bed and place both hands on the bottom of their feet. Okay, now you're going to go back to the side of the bed and place one hand on their shoulder and one hand on their hand. Okay, and go ahead and move the hand that is on their shoulder down to their elbow. Okay, go ahead and walk to the other side of the table and place one hand on that shoulder and one hand on that hand. Go ahead and move your hand that is on the shoulder down to their elbow. Okay, and go ahead and do another sweep. The 3 different areas from crown all the way down and off the feet. Aura sweep. Okay, and you're going to ask your recipient to go ahead and flip over and lay on their back. If you are on a massage table, make sure their head is not in the cradle. They need to scooch down. And then you're also going to want to put a bolster underneath their knees. And so flip over Move down and a bolster under the knee. They should be facing up. And then recover them again once they are settled in, if they're using a blanket. Okay, you're going to go ahead and start this side with another sweep, crown, down to the feet, off of the feet, outside, middle, and the other outside. Okay, and then you're gonna walk to the side of the table. Above their stomach, you're gonna go ahead and draw another choku-rei and ground both of you. Okay, and now we're going to balance the chakras on this side by placing one hand above the crown and the other hand above the sacral. Sacral is the lower belly between the belly button and the pelvic area. And the crown is the top of the head. You're going to go ahead and move down to balance the third eye, which is the forehead, and move your other hand to the solar plexus, which is between the belly button and the rib cage. And then you're going to move one hand to the throat, above the throat, and one hand above the heart. All chakra balancing is off the body. Okay, so you're going to move to the top of the table and place both hands again at the top of their head on the crown and send Reiki energy to their crown chakra. Okay, you're going to move your hands to their face. You're going to hover your hands above their face at least 2 to 3 inches, if not higher, with the intention that you are treating their third eye as well as their face. Okay, now you're going to move both hands to the outside of their face. You're going to be at their ears but not touching their ears. Be at least 2 inches or more away from their ears. You send Reiki energy there. Okay, and now you're going to hover your hands over their throat. Being sure to never touch their throat. Alright, now you're going to move to the side of the table and hover over the recipient's chest above their heart chakra, never touching the chest. Okay, and you're going to move down to the solar plexus and place your hands on the stomach if you can tell where the stomach is. If blankets are covering and you can't see the outline of the body, just go ahead and work above the body. Solar plexus is located in between the belly button and the rib cage. Okay, now you're going to move down to the sacral, which is between the belly button and the pelvic area. Same thing, if you don't know exactly where you are, go ahead and work above the body. Okay, you're going to move one hand to the hip and one hand to the knee. Okay, you're going to walk to the other side of the table and place one hand on that hip and one hand on that knee. Alright, now you're going to move to the base of the bed and place your hands either on the top part of their feet or on their ankles. Okay, you're going to move to the side of the bed and place one hand on a shoulder and one hand on a hand. Take the hand that is on their hand and move it to their elbow. Go ahead and move to the other side of the table. Place one hand on their shoulder and one hand on the hand. Go ahead and move your hand that is on their hand up to their elbow. And while you're here, I want you to think about the areas that you have gone through. Is there any area that felt like it needed more work? If it didn't feel like it, is there any area that you feel called to right now that you feel might need a little bit more? Go ahead and move to that area that you think might need a little bit more work and just send more Reiki energy there. If you're not sure where to go, you can simply stand and hold your hands over the client and ask Reiki to send energy where it's needed most for the next minute. Okay, go ahead and sweep above the client, an aura sweep, crown down to the feet and off of the feet. Alright, and go over to the side of the bed, and above their stomach, go ahead and draw a chokure and ground the client. And as you are imagining the roots coming out of the client, grounding them to the ground, I want you to go ahead and say thank you to your guides. Thank you, divine healers, Reiki ancestors, for sending healing to this client today, for healing for their highest good. Please allow Reiki to continue to flow as agreed upon between you and the client's higher self. Alright, go ahead and zip your client up, belly button to the nose and off to the right 3 times. Go ahead and fluff the air above the client, making sure not to accidentally hit the client. Stay high enough above. Then go ahead and draw a protection bubble and wrap them in protection. Okay, and you can go ahead and touch your client on their shoulder and let them know the session is done. And we are all set.